Have you watched anything from India?
Cool. Do you know somebody that can
I would
make,
definitely do that for you, Olivia. Let's do it. Can't get too cold, but you can't be too warm. How
yeah,
do you sort of thread that balance?
her engage with the team more and how she kind of interacts with everyone? Ooh, I think they both stimulate in very different ways.
So I can see that you're very like warm and very like reactive to the other person, which is completely opposite of how Mackie is.
I love Lord of the Rings. Let's go. Let's do something like that.
So, hi, Olivia. Firstly, a huge welcome to India today. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much. Thank you for doing this so early in the morning for you.
Oh,
But
thank pleasure.
but but I am very curious. I mean, as for your character, Michelle, what is the character arc that we are going to see in second season of NCIS Sydney? Because I think the first season kind of like set the bar. It set the tone for the upcoming seasons, right? I'm more curious about how this character is going to develop in this season. Tell me, how was it for you?
I mean, it was so fun. Season two as a whole really does just kind of step up, level up, like you said. But in terms of Mackie, we actually get to see a kind of softer side to her. So we're very
Mm,
used to her armor, her strength, her kind of cold exterior. So with season
yeah.
two, we get to kind of peel the layers back a little bit, and we get to see her warmth and her humor and her kind of friendliness, which is really lovely.
I mean, we would love to see that as well. Otherwise, we would think that she's not human because you know you can't be cold all the time. But also tell me, I mean, you know, how interesting is it for you to sort of balance both these sides to Mackie? Because, like you said, she has that demeanor where she appears to be cold, but she has an underneath warmth to her, right? There's a very thin layer when you're portraying something like this because you can't get too cold, but you can't be too warm. How do
Yeah.
you sort of thread that balance?
Well, I think that's one of the most fun things about being an actor in general, but also a character like Mackie, who is so kind of outwardly uh, strong and maybe standoffish. When you get those moments to kind of delve into the underneath of all that, it's just so exciting. And I think strong people and strong women are made because of their circumstances and what they've had to deal with. And Mackie has been through so much in her life that she's put
Yeah.
up these because she's had to survive. So when we come to see these moments of soft and heart and kindness and light, it makes such a difference. And I think it's going to be really interesting to kind of see that on screen.
But also, I want to understand when the character first came to you versus how the character has developed now. What is that one change which you yourself as an actor see within the character, and also something that you really wish changes about Mackie perhaps in the upcoming season?
I just think kind of more of this dynamism that we're really kind of leaning towards. That's what I'd love to see more, like how she interacts more with the team, her relationship with JD. We really get to see that expand and evolve in
Hmm.
season two, which is one of the incredible things about the season is that we see them kind of become friends and really work as a team. But also there are so many things that test that as well. Like the trust
Yeah.
that they build gets tested. So it's really, really intriguing to watch that unfold. And I would love to see, her engage with the team more and how she kind of interacts with everyone because she has such a different relationship with every single team member. So I think it's
Yeah.
going to be interesting to see how that all develops.
You have, I mean, in the first season, we saw you do a lot of action sequences as well because it is heavy on action, right? So, one, did you go through a workshop or some kind of training to be able to do that? And in this season, how are we taking that forward? How are we leveling up, perhaps, in that area?
So we have an incredible stunt team who work with us on the show, and they create the most amazing choreographed pieces that are really high octane. They kind of there's no holds barred, and so
Yeah.
they really encouraging. They encourage us to come and do rehearsals and get involved, and I love all of that stuff. So whenever I can, be in the rehearsal room and like learn to do it all myself, I'm there. So I'm always really up for doing that. And so in season two, there's way more action than season
Yeah.
one. And I got to do a very cool piece that you'll see, which
Yeah.
is in a few ways very different to the fight in season one. It's a
Hmm.
little more engaged emotionally, which you'll see. And it was just so fun.
So what do you enjoy doing more? I mean, what is more like interesting to you when you're performing like these high octane action sequences, or when you have to sort of let go emotionally on set, like a very emotional scene? What is it that stimulates you more as an actor?
Ooh, I think they both stimulate in very different ways. One
Hmm.
requires an intense physical commitment, and you have to just keep going for it, like take after take. You can't
Yeah,
let that, it's like you can't let that go. But in terms of emotional, it takes a very different level of concentration and
hmm.
vulnerability, which also requires a lot of confidence and bravery,
Absolutely.
the same way
Yeah.
that an action scene does. So it's they are weirdly similar. And then sometimes as well, they can kind of combine depending who the fight is with.
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
fun you.
But as an actor, you are anyway vulnerable on set, but especially when you're doing something like a very intense emotional scene. As an uh, as Olivia, are you comfortable doing that on most days, or do you need some time to prep and to warm up before sort of letting it go in front of camera? Because I think it is an art, but also very, very difficult to sort of attain that position or that moment where you can really let go.
Well, I think the wonderful thing about our show is the cast and the crew that we have. So the atmosphere on set is just so easy and so fun and so chill that you can come onto set no matter what the scene is and feel safe to play
Yeah.
or to be vulnerable or to be funny or to be serious. Like it's just such a wonderful environment to help you just feel free and comfortable to engage with
Yeah.
whatever the scene is. So it's actually quite easy, depending on
Ah.
what it is, to kind of go in and work with everyone because it feels like you're with family. So it's just so nice
Hmm.
to go onto set
Absolutely.
and just play and have fun.
I think that is why the show also looks that incredible because, it is a teamwork, and when everyone is together, sort of helping each other out, I think that is what kind of reflects on screen as well. But when it comes to action sequences, it's like you read something, this is how the piece is going to be like. You have trained enough for it. But when you're actually in the moment on set, are there days when you find it extremely difficult because like you said, it's physically draining, right? Uh, on days like that, how do you sort of like tell yourself that it's okay, Olivia, let's keep going, let's do this?
I mean, there is an element of pressure because you don't want to mess it up. You don't want to
Yeah.
accidentally hit somebody. There's like cameras looking at you, like we've got no time. We have to keep going. But
Yeah.
that adds to the adrenaline. And we've rehearsed so much that we know what we're doing. So it just allows you to just commit and go for it.
But I'm also curious because when I'm talking to you, I can see that you're very like warm and very like reactive to the other person, which is completely opposite of how Mackie is. So tell me, at what point did you find any similarity with Mackie on a personal level, when the first time you read about her as a character, or when it was offered to you?
I think just I connected to her strength as a woman. I think that was really important to me, and that's what spoke to me. Obviously, yes, I'm not that similar to her at all. Maybe
Yeah.
there's something in me that has this steel that I don't think I realized I had, and Mackie can bring that out of me, which is really exciting. But again, with season two, when we have moments of warmth from her, I feel like I can bring more of myself to those moments. So it
Yeah.
feels really lovely and grounded to be able to connect with my scene
Yeah.
partner as more of myself.
Yeah. At what point are you able to detach yourself from your character, though, especially when you're shooting back to back?
I personally don't kind of lean into detaching. I actually prefer bringing together of myself and Mackie because I think it creates a more real,
Okay.
grounded character, and it feels a little more personal to me, I suppose.
Right. But then what happens when you're talking to people in real life, and sometimes they see shades of Mackie and they're just like, hey, Olivia, snap back. This is not the NCIS set. What is happening? Does it ever happen like that?
I don't think it's ever happened. I mean, to my knowledge, maybe it has. But I think that's kind of the fun of it sometimes when you start kind of blending with your character.
This entire franchise in itself is one of a kind because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but perhaps the first of the franchise to have an Australian cast and like an Australian spin-off per se, right? One, how much of a pressure as an artist do you have when it comes to that? Because you're kind of representing a different a demographic completely. And also, how many new doors has this sort of opened now for more prospects like this to happen?
I think in terms of pressure, I didn't necessarily feel that. I felt more pride at the fact that we were
Hmm.
able to kind of show the world a whole new uh, franchise for the show and a whole
Right.
new part of the world, which is so exciting. And I think it really does open up, the prospect for even going further afield for NCIS because NCIS exists all over the world and
Yeah.
they are all over the world. So why not take it to different places?
But this also makes me curious because, like you said, this is a franchise which is known to the world. We have all watched it for years, actually. So when the script came to you and when you were offered Mackie for the first time, what was that reaction like? Because I mean, this is so unexpected in a lot of ways. You perhaps have grown up watching something like this, and then to be a part of that franchise, just take me to that process.
I mean, I was obviously surprised, when you audition for something, you never kind of really sit down and think you're going to get it. So it
Yeah,
was just such a wonderful experience, which also sounds weird for auditions because sometimes they can be nerve-wracking or, there's a lot of
yeah,
pressure. But, just reading the sides even for the scenes, there was just an instant connection, I suppose, and there was an ease to it. And I think that's
yeah,
what's carried myself and all of us through this production and the filming is this ease and just this joy and this fun, which is what the NCIS franchise is about. It's so much heart as well as the action, as well as the thrill of
yeah.
everything. It's really rooted in heart and family.
But what more do you want to do apart from this franchise? Like as an actor, what new genre, what are the other genres that you really want to experiment next?
I feel like I want to do every single genre that there is at least once in my career. Like I would love to do that. I'm obsessed with fantasy. I'm so down for
Uh-huh.
that. I love Lord of the Rings. Let's go. Let's do something like that.
Let's
Uh,
put it out there. Yeah.
anything. Like I'm so ready to play in so many different genres.
Absolutely. And like you said, like in NCIS as well, there's a different franchise, different which is kind of rooted in different parts of the world, right? Crossovers in today's time has become so much easier than what it was perhaps 5 or 6 years back. Tell me, as an actor, how does that kind of open gates for you in terms of not just limiting yourself to the US market or to the Australian market, but perhaps also India now? Because you know that people are watching you here and also looking forward to working with you here. So, in those sense, how do you look at those prospects?
I think it'd be awesome. I mean, like shows like this that expand so much across the world. It's always amazing to think that there are chances to visit different places and do crossovers and all that kind of stuff. So you'd never want to say no. It's an incredible opportunity.
Yeah, but do you see more of such opportunities now coming your way, or just as a whole in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think the industry as it is always going to be tricky because it's just such a competitive
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
But you always hope that the next thing you do can open different doors, and that's hopefully what will happen. As we go on.
absolutely. Yeah. Have you watched anything from India? I'm curious to know that.
That's a good question. I don't know if I have. Oh, I must have at some point, but I'm not sure.
Because I would love to see you do something here as well. Because, like I said, crossovers I mean, it's so much in trend nowadays. Everyone is doing it, and I feel like it really. kind of the exchange of culture and everything is really great. Yeah.
Can you make some calls? Do you know somebody that can
I
make?
would definitely do that for you, Olivia. Let's do it. Let's make it happen then. No, but also, can you give me a bit of spoiler? Are we also looking at season 3? I mean, in this NCIS Sydney, are we looking at season 3 as well?
We can only hope. Like, we have so much fun. We've loved filming season 2. So, you know, we have our fingers crossed and we'd love to, but like right now, season 2 is about to come out and we're so excited for everyone to see it.
I'm so excited for everyone to see it and love it so that we can finally have another season announcement as well. But thank you so much, Olivia. It was fun chatting with you. I hope that you keep doing amazing work and we keep chatting more and more then. Thank
Yeah,
you
I
so
hope
much.
so too. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful.
Thank you. It's been wonderful as well.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good
Bye
day.
bye.